This is an art collage novel video. I made this series so you guys can experience the story faster. The video will focus on the character's psychology, the images are for illustration purposes only. Yunxiao's face flickered slightly as the huge force coming from the sword continued to grow stronger. It was clear that Ruo Xiang was trying to suppress him and create an opportunity for the Green Snapper commander. He performed an incantation gesture with his left hand, and a golden light flashed out from between his eyebrows and began to spread all over his body, transforming into a three-headed and six-armed transcendence golden body. One of his arms pointed forward, and 11 northern heaven cold star swords burst out of his body, turning into sword lights and slashing out. A sneer flashed across the Green Snapper commander's face. It spun its golden fork in the air, and golden balls flew out and spread out at the bottom of the sea. Then, Ruo Xiang's dragon energy burst out in the sky, and the shadow of a true dragon appeared behind him. The power of the Luoho spear doubled, and it pressed down on Yunxiao like a mountain. Bang! Bang! The long swords struck the golden ball, but to no avail. They were jolted back and stabbed into the bottom of the sea in a row with clanging sounds. The Green Snapper commander's expression turned stern as his golden trident turned into a few beams of light. The dozen or so golden balls flew up into the air, spun around Yunxiao, and then smashed down on him. Yunxiao's expression flickered. A heavenly hammer appeared in one of his hands, and a ring of thunderstars formed around him, which he then blasted out in all directions and blocked all the golden balls. That heavenly hammer directly became bigger and smashed towards Yunxiang's head. Ruo Xiang's pupils contracted. The power of that hammer strike made him feel an abnormal sense of danger. He quickly retracted his battle spear and held it horizontally in front of him to resist the lightning. Boom! As more than 10 golden balls around him were shattered, a huge force soared into the sky. Ruo Xiang was also shaken away by the hammer, and his body couldn't help but fly back. In an instant, Yunxiao turned into a bolt of lightning, and his cold sword of ice rose up as he flew out and slashed at Ruo Xiang. The sword chi spread out like petals in the water and finally gathered in a line, cutting the sea water apart. There was a vacuum around him. Luoho strike. Ruo Xiang's expression was stern, and there was a faint dragon-shaped spiral on his long spear. He raised his head and spat out a pearl, and the might of a true dragon roared. Bang! The two forces collided, and the seawater in all directions was pushed back. A huge vacuum was created in the sea, and it kept rushing to the surface of the sea. Yunxiao snorted coldly as he performed an incantation gesture with his left hand and pointed at the sword. Immediately, an ice crystal emerged and bloomed. The temperature in the surroundings suddenly dropped, and Ruo Xiang's body trembled. A bone-chilling cold penetrated his dragon scales and went deep into his meridians and bones. Flowers bloom in a spring breeze. At Yunxiao's cry, the ice crystal exploded with a bang, scattering into ice flowers. The color of the surroundings darkened, and then froze in all directions at an extremely fast speed, freezing everything within 10,000 miles. Gotcha! The surging waves were also frozen in an instant, turning into mountains that rose from the bottom of the sea into the sky. The sun shone directly on the bottom of the sea, reflecting a dazzling light on the huge ice crystals on both sides. Ruo Xiang and the Green Snapper commander not far away were both frozen by this move. Bang! Just as Yunxiao pulled out his sword and slashed through the ice seal to cut Ruo Xiang's neck, Ruo Xiang moved and instantly shattered countless pieces of hard ice. The Luoho spear turned into white bones in an instant, and a dragon spine spun in front of him like a long whip, blocking the cold sword. Good move! Ruo Xiang's face turned cold. The spine of the dragon shook Yunxiao away and turned into a dragon shadow that circled around him, then rushed into his body and fused with it. A powerful dragon chi shot out and immediately shook off the endless ice one by one. It was as if the mountains had collapsed and the entire sea had fallen into a whirlpool again. At the same time, the Green Snapper commander's eyes were about to pop out. It held the golden fork with both hands and raised it high, then fiercely thrust it forward. Countless water elements were split apart by a golden beam of a powerful art, and the vortex formed by the collapse of the iceberg was cut in half as well, while the golden beam went straight for Yunxiao. Yunxiao performed an incantation gesture with one hand, and the ice sword was held horizontally in front of him. The surrounding seawater turned dark, like a black hole that devoured all light, and the golden light dimmed under the strange phenomenon. Sword art, star obliteration. Sword chi shot out from the endless darkness, wanting to break open the endless sea of void. It collided with the golden light, and the force shot out in all directions. Many of the Sea tribe members who were surrounding and killing everyone in the distance were affected by this power and were instantly crushed into pieces. The battlefield was once again pulled far away. Young Emperor Haolian looked into the distance worriedly. Xiaochuan, do you want to go and help young Master Yun? You'll be helping young Master Yun if you don't get hurt. Mo Xiaochuan said calmly, turning a blind eye to the battle. However, the ultimate move in his hand became more and more ruthless. It was as if he had poured all his emotions into his sword light, and a large number of members of the Sea clan were crushed by his sword chi. Young Emperor Haolian looked embarrassed, but Mo Xiaochuan was right. They had already done their best to keep the Sea tribe army busy. With a loud shout, for streams of elemental power swirled around his fist and shot toward the Sea tribe army. Only this much? If you don't use your divine ability, how are you going to kill me? After the attack, Yunxiao stood there coldly, looking down at the two people in front of him with a cold gleam in his eyes. The green snapper commander's face turned extremely ugly. He had thought that the other party was only a 2-star martial sovereign and that it would be easy to kill him, but he did not expect him to be so difficult to deal with. He said coldly, "Since you're so eager to die, I'll fulfill your wish." Ha! The green snapper commander let out an angry roar and stuck its golden fork beside it. It pushed its left palm forward, and a dark green vortex appeared in its palm, emitting circles of black light that synchronized with the energy frequency of the entire sea. For a moment, the waves surged, and a shadow appeared behind it. It slowly opened 2 red eyes, revealing a fierce aura. The violent aura coming from the phantom was that of some powerful totem beast. Moreover, the green snapper commander seemed to have become one with the sea at this moment. Every breath it took was like the waves of the sea, and its aura was getting stronger and stronger. Yunxiao's pupils constricted. If he were to let the old man continue, he would be in trouble. In an instant, he turned into a bolt of lightning and rushed over, his body expanding several times in size. A ring of lightning stars surrounded him, and huge manhwa ancient characters appeared on his hammer. A thunderbolt rushed out of Yunxiao's body, breaking through the entire sea and even piercing through the surface of the sea, shaking up into the sky. The green snapper commander's eyes widened in anger, and he revealed a look of horror. His right hand formed a seal and his left hand slapped out directly to meet the thunderbolt. Bang! Bang! The impact of the thunderbolts grew stronger and stronger, and they continued to stack on top of each other. The power of the thunderbolt star ring continued to expand, pushing the seawater dozens of meters away, and the entire sea level rose. The green snapper commander's expression changed drastically. When he had received the thunderbolts earlier, they did not feel as strong as he had imagined. However, he did not expect that in just half a breath's time, they had increased by many times and scattered all the vital essence in his hands. Furthermore, the power of lightning had a natural suppressive effect on deep sea races like them. After dispersing the essence force in his palm, it even shattered his protective true essence. At this critical moment, the totem behind the green snapper commander seemed to show its might. It opened its huge white teeth in the darkness and let out a trembling cry. Luo! Luo! The sharp cry pushed away the power of thunder, and a huge sound wave came from under Yunxiao's hammer, which almost blew him away. The noise was so loud that it almost blew his mind apart. Damn it, what the hell is this? Damn it! Yunxiao cursed angrily, his face filled with horror. The totem was only a part of its body, and it could already have such power with just a long roar. If it were the whole body, it would be even more terrible. Pfft. The green snapper commander spat out a large mouthful of blood. His heart meridian had been injured by the attack just now. After returning from the gates of hell, he quickly formed seals with his hands and increased the power of the totem behind him. This was the agreement between the green snapper tribe and the ferocious beasts. In times of crisis, they could summon part of the ferocious beast's main bodies. However, with his current strength, he could not summon too many of them. His current state was already his limit. The totem kept howling, and the sound waves were not only attacking Yunxiao, but also spreading in all directions. On the battlefield in the distance, the green snapper tribe seemed to be fine, but the rest of the sea tribe, Mo Xiaochuan, and the others had a drastic change in expression. They were so agitated that they had goosebumps all over their bodies, and the aura in their bodies suddenly became violent. The dark thunder trembled violently and curled up into a ball as if it was extremely afraid. However, circles of golden lightning were still spreading out of its body, preventing the marine race from invading. Duan Yu had a very good relationship with it, and he immediately surrounded it to protect it. Yunxiao was shocked and angry by the sound wave. He made a hand seal, and his whole body shone with a golden light. Ripples spread out on the surface of his skin, and most of the beast's attack was blocked by the golden body, only a part of it entering his body. Yunxiao's face darkened as he gave another soft cry. A demonic aura rose from his body, and the demonic sky armor materialized, finally dispelling all the sound waves. He then quickly formed hand seals with both hands, and the projection of a true demon appeared from the bottom of the sea behind him. It was like a giant that descended onto the ocean, and the entire ocean water began to turn black like ink. Yunxiao's eyes were cold as he glanced at Yunxiang, who was not far away. The latter was also staring at him fiercely, his hands constantly changing incantation gestures, as if he was performing some incredible divine ability. Humph. Yunxiao snorted coldly. Ignoring Yunxiang, he performed an incantation gesture with both hands, and beams of golden light spread out from his hands. The true devil phantom behind Yunxiao also formed a seal. Outside the golden seal, a huge devil seal appeared, floating in the dark sea and undulating. The green snapper commander's face was pale. He had consumed a lot of his power, and the totem beast behind him was also gradually fading. Li Yunxiao, stop! Ruo Xiang suddenly shouted, and his eyes burst out with a bright light. An extremely terrifying aura came over, and a circle of light suddenly appeared in the sea. It was as if a passage had opened, and it instantly spread out tens of meters. It was as if a cage had been opened, and a peerless ferocious beast was about to come. Both Yunxiao and the green snapper commander were taken aback, but one of them had a solemn look on his face, while the other was overjoyed. It's a deep-sea giant-faced beast. The green snapper commander's eyes bloomed with joy as he laughed wildly. I can't believe Lord Ruo Xiang has summoned this thing. Yunxiao is dead for sure. The circle of light continued to expand, and the aura around Ruo Xiang's entire body also soared. The dragon chi turned into the shape of a dragon, and they flew around his body. An eye that was dozens of meters wide slowly opened in the circle of light. The eyeball inside the huge white pupil rolled around a few times, which was extremely strange. As the light circle grew bigger and bigger, the face of the entire beast was slowly revealed. It almost covered an entire area of the sea, and the huge face was also trying hard to squeeze. Boom! The entire seabed trembled violently. The face of the ferocious beast directly squeezed through the space and was revealed. It was like a huge flatbread. The face suddenly opened its mouth and smiled. It was abnormally terrifying. Gulp. Yunxiao also felt his throat dry and thirsty. He swallowed and immediately recognized that the creature in front of him was a deep-sea giant beast, an ancient race that lived in the sea, hiding in the endless deep sea and rarely appearing. This kind of giant beast usually existed alone, or in families of 2 or 3. Their bodies were hundreds of times larger than ordinary members of the sea race, and some could even reach a terrifying size of 1,000 times. They were powerful existences that had been nurtured by the sea for countless years. Yunxiao's true fiend Dharma idol was not even as tall as the nose of the face. Li Yunxiao, let's see how you die this time. Ruo Xiang's face was also flushed red. He was extremely excited that he could summon such a powerful existence. He turned into a ray of light and landed on that huge face. He grinned hideously and said, "This is a legendary race of the ocean. If you can die in the mouth of a deep-sea giant beast, you won't be in vain. Boom. Boom. That giant beast seemed to be unable to see its body, and only its round face was swimming in the sea. It slowly opened its mouth and took a deep breath, swallowing a large amount of seawater into its stomach. Even those Sea Clan members in the distance, some of whom were slightly weaker, couldn't escape the misfortune and were sucked in fear. A gloomy look flashed across Yunxiao's face. Knowing that it was impossible to kill Ruo Xiang today, he moved his body in a flash and disappeared from where he was, along with his true fiend Dharma idol. In the next moment, he appeared in front of the Green Snapper commander, and the mark he had formed earlier suddenly smashed down. Even if he couldn't kill Ruo Xiang, at least he couldn't return empty-handed. Damn it, Li Yunxiao. How dare you ignore me? Ruo Xiang was furious. How dare Yunxiao be so presumptuous in front of the deep-sea giant-faced beast? He made a hand seal, and a strange seal appeared in his hands, which he raised high. The giant-faced beast under his feet seemed to sense something. A fierce light shot out of its huge eyes, and it snorted heavily through its nostrils, sending a huge sound wave rolling toward Yunxiao. The density of the water was compressed to the point of metal, and when it hit Yunxiao, it shattered into countless pieces under the Devil Sky armor. The Green Snapper commander was shocked, and his heart sank. It seemed that the other party was going to kill him at all costs. He roared angrily, and the sound of chains exploding came from his body. It was as if all his potential had been stimulated, and a violent aura broke out of his body. Li Yunxiao, you want to kill me, so I want you to die too. As if green dust had been scattered in front of it, the Green Snapper commander made hand seals with its left hand and grabbed in front of it with its right hand. A force that resembled a barrier condensed in its palm and shot out with a loud bang. With the determination to die and the last trace of ruthlessness, the Green Snapper commander condensed all its vital essence and consciousness under this palm and blasted it toward the black mark that was falling from the sky. Boom. The endless sea water shattered, and the power of black and green surged at the bottom of the sea. It spiraled like a millstone, drawing everything in and grinding it into pieces. The Green Snapper commander's body also began to break apart under the millstone. His eyes were wide with anger as he watched the streams of power washing through Yunxiao's armor, but they could not break through his defense at all. Bastard. I'm not willing to accept this. The other party was completely uninjured under the Devil Sky Silk's defense, while he was being crushed bit by bit. Who would be willing to accept this? You're not willing, Yunxiao said coldly. Who's going to talk to you? Bang. The Green Snapper commander's body instantly turned into countless pieces of meat and dissipated. Even the 8th grade golden trident that had been standing beside it was bent by the force of the millstone. At that moment, an extremely dangerous aura came over, and the trembling from the depths of his soul made Yunxiao tremble. He looked back in horror and saw that the huge-faced beast had already stuck close to him. Its huge mouth was like a bottomless black hole, and a terrifying power was being nurtured from it. Yunxiao scanned the area with his divine sense, but he found no trace of it. Even his divine sense had been devoured, and he could not find anything. However, the fear of danger in his heart grew stronger and stronger. It's worth it to exchange the Green Snapper commander's life for yours. A cold glint flashed in Ruo Xiang's eyes, and the seal in his hands changed. An unimaginable savage and brutal aura spurted out of the huge-faced beast's mouth as it breathed. Yunxiao was instantly horrified. Behind the brutal aura, there was a feeling that made his blood run cold. A blinding light suddenly burst out of his body, making it as bright as day. The Divine Realm tablet flew out of his hand, growing larger and larger. The tablet glowed with a strange light, and ancient manhwa runes emerged one after another. Yunxiao manifested his golden body, and his 6 arms danced quickly in the air, the speed of his incantation 3 times faster than usual. The power of the world was revealed, and all kinds of strange phenomena began to appear on the steel. They suddenly spread out at the bottom of the sea, and the might of heaven and earth rolled over, giving people a feeling that the universe was unfathomable. As the Great Realm Divine Technique was executed, a brand new world began to appear under the light. Blue skies and white clouds appeared at the bottom of the sea, and birds sang and flowers bloomed. All sorts of unbelievable things began to appear one by one. Ruo Xiang's expression changed drastically, and he shouted in shock, "Attack! Hurry up and attack!" The terrifying aura that was still increasing in the mouth of the huge-faced beast was frozen. Suddenly, a black power was shot out, and the entire underwater world immediately fell into darkness. The black power slammed into the brand new world of the Divine Realm tablet and immediately dispersed like ink, enveloping Yunxiao and the light of the world and devouring them. The faces of the sea race people in the distance also changed greatly. It seemed that their innate souls were extremely resistant to this kind of power. One by one, they fled in horror, not daring to come forward. Mo Xiaochuan and the others' expressions changed drastically as well. They stopped outside the endless black light, not knowing what to do. Ruo Xiang's face was also solemn, and he was both surprised and happy. He was surprised that the deep-sea giant beast could not kill Yunxiao in an instant, and happy that the thing in Yunxiao's hand was definitely a supreme-grade mystic artifact. But he was not worried, as there was no way he could survive the attack of the giant-faced beast. These deep-sea giant beasts had been passed down from the primordial era, even longer than the era of true spirits. However, with the great changes in the world, a large number of deep-sea giant beasts died, and even the remaining ones gradually degenerated with the evolution of history. No one knew exactly how many deep-sea giant beasts existed in the four seas and what their overall strength was, but the only thing that was certain was that as long as these deep-sea giant beasts could be summoned, they would listen to the command of the descendants of the true dragons. Moreover, the stronger the power of the bloodline, the stronger the control over them. It was said that a long time ago, the ancient true dragon had made some sort of contract with the ancestors of these giant beasts, just like how the powerful races of the four seas had made totems. Mo Xiaochuan's expression changed from one of calm to one of uneasiness. The treasured sword in his hand let out a clang and a golden sword talisman began to spin on the sword, growing brighter and brighter. He raised the long sword high, and a faint sword spirit phantom rushed out of the sword body, flying into the sky along with the sword talisman. A sword, sunrise and rain of 1,000 nights. Killing intent flickered in Mo Xiaochuan's eyes. The will of the demon-slaying sword appeared in his hand and he slashed out. The entire pitch-black ocean floor was instantly split open, like a long rainbow in the sky, leading to the other side. Ruo Xiang's pupils constricted. Even he didn't dare to easily receive the power of this sword. Boom. The sword chi cut into the black light, split it several feet away, and then completely annihilated it. At this moment, everyone's faces changed drastically. They knew Mo Xiaochuan's ability very well, but he could only cut open the tip of the black light with his full strength. Yunxiao, who was inside, was in grave danger. Kill Ruo Xiang. Young Emperor Hulian was shocked and furious. He flew up into the air and was about to head towards Yunxiang when that black power suddenly surged and a white light suddenly shot out. It was as if the heavens and earth had been split into two. What? Ruo Xiang was shocked, and his body trembled violently. He could actually survive under that black light that was certain death? Then, a blue thunderbolt shot out and transformed into Yunxiao's true form. He held the cold sword, Frost, in his right hand, but he could not help trembling, and his face was extremely unsightly. Retreat. The crowd gathered around and were about to ask when Yunxiao waved the Divine Realm tablet in his left hand after saying those words. Then, they all turned into lightning and flew away. At this moment, Ruo Xiang finally came back to his senses and roared, "Damn it! Chase him and kill him." He had clearly seen Yunxiao wave his hand and take away all the people, which made him even more certain that the Jade Tablet was a supreme-grade mystic artifact. The giant-faced beast slowly turned around, opened its mouth, and spat out another black beam at Yunxiao. But this time, it was just a casual spit, and the black beam seemed to be much weaker than before. Even so, the beast was just too large. Just a black streak of light was enough to cover the sky and earth, and its speed was not any slower than the lightning. Yunxiao gritted his teeth and performed an incantation gesture with his left hand, which transformed into the ancient manhwa character of the Law of Thunder and pointed at his forehead. Peepa. A bolt of purple lightning shot out from his forehead, and his speed instantly doubled. It was as if he had teleported out of the sea. The moment he left the sea, Yunxiao took a deep breath and teleported hundreds of meters away, then turned into a bolt of lightning and headed toward the land. At the same time, a voice transmission rang out in the sea. Ruo Xiang, I'll take your life next time.